Shoo. It's time to slow down now. Feel your shoulders begin to soften. Notice the breath gently moving in and out. Let the day melt away behind you like wax from a forgotten candle. You're safe here. You're warm. You are not expected to do anything, except drift and dream. And as you breathe in again, feel your body settling deeper into the mattress beneath you. Imagine a soft, woolen blanket wrapping over your chest. And the faint, distant sound of rustling trees through an open wooden shutter. Our story tonight begins in confusion. It starts with the rustle of straw, the bray of a goat, and the unmistakable stench of something very wrong. Because tonight, you've time-traveled. Accidentally. You've woken up, in the Middle Ages. Somewhere around 1350. No one asked your permission, of course. You just blinked, and there it was. The 14th century. In all its gritty, miserable, and mildly cursed glory. Let's set the scene. You awaken not in your bed, but in a heap of straw, scratchy and poking through a linen tunic that smells vaguely like onions. To your left, a goat. To your right, a small wooden bowl filled with what looks like cold porridge and a single plum. Above you, the slanted rafters of a thatch roof, and beside you, the damp chill of medieval morning air. No alarm clock. Just the cawing of crows, and a distant church bell tolling prime. You sit up slowly. Your back cracks. Your knees complain. Outside, you hear chickens, and someone yelling in what sounds like a very angry Old English. You think to yourself, where am I? Why is everything made of wood? And, is that a rat? Yes. Yes, it is. Congratulations. You've arrived in the Dark Ages. You tiptoe across the dirt floor, barefoot, of course, and step into the open air. The cold bites instantly. No heaters. No socks. Only layers of coarse wool that itch in all the wrong places. The village is already stirring. Thin plumes of smoke rise from crooked chimneys. Pigs trot through muddy streets. And a woman across the way narrows her eyes at you. You wave politely. Hi, you offer, with an awkward smile. She drops her basket. And runs. You may have just committed a social crime. Because in this place, strangers who talk to women before breakfast are either demons, or French. As your heart pounds, the reality sets in. You don't know the customs. You don't know the language. And worst of all, there's no coffee. Welcome, to the 14th century. But don't worry. You're not alone. I'll be here. Guiding you softly, step by uncomfortable step. We still have to find you a meal. A place to relieve yourself. And ideally, a way to avoid being burned at the stake by sundown. But for now, just breathe. Let the chill of the past pass through you like a breeze through a cracked window. And settle in. Because this strange, medieval day has only just begun. Now that you're outside, you take a careful step onto the uneven cobbles. They're slick with dew and something else. You hope it's just rain. It's not. Medieval streets weren't designed for shoes or hygiene. A donkey passes by. Its hooves click sharply on the stone. Its eyes are soulful. It snorts in your general direction and keeps walking. You breathe in again, deeply, perhaps too deeply. The air smells of smoke, cabbage, and centuries of natural living. There's no soap. No perfume. Just the bold bouquet of daily survival. You shuffle past a timber-framed house, its upper floor jutting out oddly, casting shadows on the lane below. A tangle of laundry flaps overhead like medieval prayer flags, linens, tunics, and something that may once have been white. You wonder where the bathroom is. The answer? There isn't one. A child dumps a slop bucket into the street. You leap back. Too late. Your leg is now christened with something warmish. The goat that followed you out bleats helpfully. A man in a hooded cloak glares at you and mutters something in Middle English, which you don't understand. You nod solemnly anyway. You've decided your best defense is politeness and complete silence. You pass a baker's stall. The smell of warm bread makes your stomach do a somersault. Flat loaves. Blackened crusts. Not a croissant in sight. You ask the baker, how much? She looks puzzled. Oh right. Currency. You reach into your pocket. Only to discover, it's full of lint and a dead beetle. No coin. No phone. No debit card. The baker reaches for a stick. You back away. Slowly. Carefully. You try to look unthreatening and peasant-like. Perhaps you'll find some berries later. Or a sympathetic monk. You keep walking. To your left, a pig grunts in a wooden pen. To your right, two villagers are debating loudly over a bucket of fish. Everyone stares at you. Because you're dressed oddly. You smell unfamiliar. And you're not quite dirty enough. They can sense it. You're not from here. Your gaze is too steady. Your hands don't have calluses. And your teeth, gasp, are intact. Someone murmurs a word. It travels like smoke on the wind. Witch. You freeze. You smile nervously. Then walk faster. Faster still. Until you're back behind a building, gasping, heart thudding, crouched between a rain barrel and a heap of hay. Welcome to the anxiety of time travel. It's itchy. It's awkward. And it's very, very real. But now. Settle again. You're safe, for the moment. Let your breathing slow. The village fades behind you like mist curling off a field. The goat curls up beside you. You feel its warmth. Its strange comfort. The wind whistles gently through the narrow alley. A church bell tolls again, marking mid-morning. You have survived an hour. Only 10 or 11 more to go. But remember, this is not a race. It's a wander. And as the day stretches forward like an uneven dirt road, you will walk it softly. With open eyes. And cautious footsteps. You decide it's best to find shelter. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere without buckets, or judgment, or torch-wielding mobs. So you follow the goat. Because honestly, it seems to know what it's doing. Beyond them, fields. Mud, mostly. But green in patches. Crisscrossed with wooden plows and small, hunched figures working in silence. You realize the landscape is oddly beautiful. Chaotic. Crooked. But real. A woven tapestry of soil, toil, and breath. The wind carries the scent of earth. You listen. A distant bleating. The creak of cart wheels. The rhythmic clack of a loom from a nearby cottage. The goat leads you to a tiny wooden chapel. Half sunk into the ground. The door is ajar. You peek inside. Dusty stone floor. A few candles. And a single robed figure, an old monk, bent over a book. You step in, slowly. The air is thick with beeswax, parchment, and something herbal. The monk doesn't look up. He's writing. Meticulously. Ink stains on his fingers. A soft hum rises from his throat, like a lullaby only he remembers. You sit quietly near the doorway, breathing in the calm. You realize how still the air is inside the chapel. No shouting. No pigs. No sudden accusations of heresy. Only silence. and the soft scratch of a quill on vellum. The monk looks up. He sees you. He smiles. Not a suspicious smile. Not a nervous one. Just a kind smile. As if he already knows you don't belong here, and he's not surprised. He gestures for you to sit closer. You do. He pulls a clay cup from under his desk. Pours a little something from a stoppered jar. He hands it to you. You sip. Warm. Thick. Herbal. Possibly, fermented? But oddly soothing. Drink slowly, he whispers. The words are strangely clear. Almost like English, but turned sideways. You do as he says. Your hands warm around the cup. Your shoulders sink another inch. The tremble in your chest softens. You glance at the manuscript before him. It's not Latin. It's not a Bible. It's a journal. And in it, a sentence. Time bends for those who lose their place. You blink. You look at him. But he only nods, once, and returns to writing. Somehow. You don't feel lost anymore. Still out of place, yes. Still hungry. Still a little smelly. But not alone. Outside, the wind picks up. You hear it rush across the chapel roof, making the beams creak. But inside, the world is still. The monk offers you a blanket. Rough wool, of course, but warmer than expected. You curl against the stone wall, cup resting in your lap. The goat lies just outside the doorway. And slowly, you let your eyelids fall. Not asleep, but drifting. Drifting like smoke in a long-forgotten village. In a time that was never ready for you. The monk eventually nods off, chin tucked to chest. The candle sputters. And the little chapel sinks into near darkness. You decide to step out once more, quietly. You still don't know how to get home. Or if that's even possible. But the sun is drifting toward its midday peak. And your stomach is making opinions known. You leave the warm dimness of the chapel and return to the dirt path. The goat follows, loyal as ever. The road curls downhill now. Through an open meadow brushed with wild mustard and poppies. You pause. The breeze brushes past you like linen on skin. And for a moment, you forget the world you left behind. The sound of buzzing bees. The flutter of birds taking flight. The lazy creak of a wooden windmill turning slowly in the distance. Everything here moves slower. No screens. No cars. No breaking news. Just the steady rhythm of people surviving. And the quiet whisper of nature watching. You pass a man mending a fence. He nods. Doesn't speak. Just wipes sweat from his brow and returns to work. Hands strong. Movements practiced. He doesn't recognize your clothes or your soft hands. But he doesn't seem to care. You're just another face, passing through. You follow the road toward a small stream. The water sparkles in the sun. Clear and cold, tumbling over round stones. You kneel. Cup your hands. Drink. It's clean. And your reflection looks strange. Smeared with smudges. Hair windswept. But peaceful. You sit on a mossy rock beside the stream. The goat drinks beside you. And you think. Maybe it's not all miserable. Maybe, without the pressure to produce, to post, to reply. There's a kind of space here. A strange, gentle freedom. Of course, you're still hungry. Still don't have a plan. But the sun is warm. The breeze is soft. And the birds are louder than your thoughts. You lay back in the grass. The clouds drift by like old sails. And you begin to feel something unexpected. Not panic. Not confusion. But surrender. Not to fear, but to stillness. Time moves differently here. Slower. Wiser. A bell rings again, distant, slow. Maybe gnomes. Or someone calling workers in from the fields. But it doesn't matter. You're not expected anywhere. Not yet. You trace a finger through the grass. You feel the earth beneath you. Real. Uneven. Ancient. And as the sun warms your skin, and the wind carries far-off voices in a language you only halfway understand, you realize you've traveled in time. But somehow, you've also come home. Not to your own time. Not even to your own story. But to a pocket of the world that still listens. That still breathes. That still waits, for no one. Eventually, your stomach insists again. You rise slowly, brushing twigs from your tunic. The goat, ever faithful, snorts softly and follows. Down a narrow trail, you approach a larger building, timber-framed, with a low thatched roof and smoke curling from its chimney. A tavern. Or something close enough. Outside, a cart stands idle. Barrels stacked beside it. And the scent, of onion, garlic, and something bubbling in fat, greets you like an open-armed uncle. Inside, the room is dim. Shutters narrow the sunlight. A few souls sit on benches made of raw wood, hunched over trenchers of stew. You hover at the threshold. A woman behind the counter eyes you. She's stout, red-faced, and flour-dusted. You raise your hand awkwardly. Food, you ask. She squints. Snorts. Then ladles something into a chipped wooden bowl and slams it down on the table nearest the door. You approach. Settle. Sniff. It's questionable. A watery broth with flecks of turnip, cabbage, and what might once have been meat. You eat. Carefully. It's not delicious. But it's warm. And strangely grounding. The kind of meal that says, you've made it through half the day. Here's a boiled root. A man at the next table leans closer. You're not from around here, he says. It's not a question. It's a fact. You nod slowly. Best to say little. He eyes your clothes, then your hands. Then whispers, don't go east. They say the fog there eats people. You blink. Smile nervously. He grins. One tooth missing. Then returns to his ale. You finish the stew. Leave the bowl. And step back into the light. The world outside has shifted again. The sun lower now. The air cooler. The village quieter. Even in this century, time slips past like a stream around stone. You follow a new path. Past a cluster of homes. Children chasing a wheel. Dogs barking at geese. A man hammering something red-hot against an anvil. The clang echoes through the village, sharp and rhythmic. He nods at you once. Then returns to his work. No one here is idle. Everyone does something. Or they vanish. You pause near a herb stand. Bundles of dried lavender and mint hang from a wooden beam. A woman with eyes like polished walnut watches you. You're not sick, are you? She asks. No, you reply. Not cursed? Not, that I know of. She nods. Tears a scrap of cloth. Wraps a sprig of thyme and something that smells like pine. Keep this on you. The air's turning. She presses it into your hand. Better safe than spectral. You thank her. She doesn't smile. Just turns away. You tuck the bundle into your sleeve. The scent clings to you, sharp, medicinal, oddly comforting. The sky begins to shift, clouds bruising at the edges. Twilight whispers its way down the lane. You look around. Every villager is moving indoors. Candles appear in windows. Doors creak shut. Something in the air changes. Even the goat stops walking. Curfew. You remember. Because in the Middle Ages, night belonged to the unknown. A bell tolls from the church tower, low and long. Its echo rolls across the village like a slow breath. That's the signal. Candles out. Shutters closed. Doors barred. You feel it in the bones of the place. Night is not for wandering. But you have nowhere to go. No hearth to crouch beside. No straw pile to call your own. The goat looks up at you. As if asking, so, what's the plan? You walk cautiously, heart tapping at your ribs. Each footstep louder now, in the hush that follows the bell. A shadow crosses the road ahead. You freeze. But it's only an old woman, dragging a basket of wood behind her. She glances at you. Then at the sky. You shouldn't be out, she says. Her voice is creased with age and smoke. I don't belong here, you whisper. She studies you for a long moment. Then jerks her chin toward a shack beside her cottage. Sleep there. But don't light a fire. The smoke'll bring questions. You nod, whispering thanks. It's questionable. A watery broth with flecks of turnip, cabbage, and what might once have been meat. You eat. Carefully. It's not delicious. But it's warm. And strangely grounding. The kind of meal that says, you've made it through half the day. Here's a boiled root. A man at the next table leans closer. You're not from around here, he says. It's not a question. It's a fact. You nod slowly. Best to say little. He eyes your clothes, then your hands. Then whispers, don't go east. They say the fog there eats people. You blink. Smile nervously. He grins. One tooth missing. Then returns to his ale. You finish the stew. Leave the bowl. And step back into the light. The world outside has shifted again. The sun lower now. The air cooler. The village quieter. Even in this century, time slips past like a stream around stone. You follow a new path. Past a cluster of homes. Children chasing a wheel. Dogs barking at geese. A man hammering something red-hot against an anvil. The clang echoes through the village, sharp and rhythmic. He nods at you once. Then returns to his work. No one here is idle. Everyone does something. Or they vanish. You pause near a herb stand. Bundles of dried lavender and mint hang from a wooden beam. A woman with eyes like polished walnut watches you. You're not sick, are you? She asks. No, you reply. Not cursed? Not, that I know of. She nods. Tears a scrap of cloth. Wraps a sprig of thyme and something that smells like pine. Keep this on you. The air's turning. She presses it into your hand. Better safe than spectral. You thank her. She doesn't smile. Just turns away. You tuck the bundle into your sleeve. The scent clings to you, sharp, medicinal, oddly comforting. The sky begins to shift, clouds bruising at the edges. Twilight whispers its way down the lane. You look around. Every villager is moving indoors. Candles appear in windows. Doors creak shut. Something in the air changes. Even the goat stops walking. Curfew. You remember. Because in the Middle Ages, night belonged to the unknown. A bell tolls from the church tower, low and long. Its echo rolls across the village like a slow breath. That's the signal. Candles out. Shutters closed. Doors barred. You feel it in the bones of the place. Night is not for wandering. But you have nowhere to go. No hearth to crouch beside. No straw pile to call your own. The goat looks up at you. As if asking, so, what's the plan? You walk cautiously, heart tapping at your ribs. Each footstep louder now, in the hush that follows the bell. A shadow crosses the road ahead. You freeze. But it's only an old woman, dragging a basket of wood behind her. She glances at you. Then at the sky. You shouldn't be out, she says. Her voice is creased with age and smoke. I don't belong here, you whisper. She studies you for a long moment. Then jerks her chin toward a shack beside her cottage. Sleep there. But don't light a fire. The smoke'll bring questions. You nod, whispering thanks. She says nothing more. Just disappears behind a crooked door. You and the goat slip into the small lean-to. The scent of hay and damp wood fills the air. There's a crate in the corner, covered with burlap. You sit on it. Pull the rough cloth around your shoulders. The goat curls beside your feet, hooves twitching softly in its sleep. Outside, the village quiets to a murmur. Only the wind moves now, threading between homes, whispering through gaps in shutters, slipping beneath doors. You let your eyes close. Not to sleep, just to soften. To feel the hush settle into your bones. You've survived the daylight. Dodged suspicion. Found food. Spoken to a monk. Received an herbal charm from a stranger who may or may not believe in ghosts. You're still here. You're still, you. But the strange thing is, you're changing. You're learning how to move without drawing notice. How to listen more than speak. How to read the sky, the faces, the silences. Time travel isn't just about jumping to another era. It's about melting into it. Becoming quieter, smaller, softer. You breathe in again. The hay smells musty, but clean. Your eyes grow heavier. You think of the world you left. Electric lights. Endless notifications. Soft beds and hot water. But also, constant urgency. Always running. Always proving. Always connected, but rarely present. Here, in this tiny shack, with a goat as your companion and a burlap sack as your blanket. You feel something strange. Not comfort, exactly. Not safety. But clarity. You're nobody here. But you're real. And as the wind sighs through the slats, and the last candlelight flickers out in the distance, you begin to understand something the monk was writing. Time bends for those who lose their place. Maybe this place was never meant to be escaped. Only witnessed. Only felt. Only remembered. You must have dozed off. Because when you open your eyes again, the sky beyond the wood slats is ink dark. Freckled with stars you don't recognize. There are no airplanes. No satellites winking past. Just constellations, old and unbothered. Silent stories written in cold fire. The goat breathes gently beside you, curled like a question mark. Its side rises and falls with steady rhythm. You shift slightly, listening to the night. Somewhere far off, an owl hoots. A dog barks once, then quiets. The air has turned colder. Your fingers ache a little. But strangely, you don't mind. Because your thoughts are soft now. Like old cloth. Like bedtime prayers in languages long forgotten. Your mind begins to drift. What if this wasn't a mistake? What if you were meant to see this? To live, just for a moment, inside the life of the forgotten? Of the voiceless? The countless souls who came before us. Who walk this ground with calloused feet and quiet hearts. You feel it now. Not just in your bones, but in your breath. A kind of echo. A living whisper. The truth is, the Middle Ages weren't made for comfort. They were built from survival. From bruised hands and tired backs. From seasons that took as much as they gave. But here, beneath a sky so sharp and vast, you sense something sacred. Not holy, exactly. But human. The kind of humanity that exists when there's nothing to prove. When each hour is a small victory. When your name doesn't matter, only your kindness. You close your eyes again. And this time, you dream. You dream of a cobbled street lit by fireflies. Of a bell that rings not for fear, but for gathering. Of bread shared without question. Of language spoken with hands, not just words. You dream of the monk and his ink-stained fingers. Writing your name in a book you'll never see. And smiling. Because he knows what you've learned. That time is not a prison. It is a teacher. And tonight, it teaches you stillness. The kind you forgot you needed. You breathe in. And the scent of hay and thyme fills your chest. You breathe out. And your muscles soften like melting wax. You are not home. You are not lost. You are simply, between. Floating gently in a place that doesn't ask anything of you. Except to notice. To feel. To rest. The wind hums low against the planks. The stars will slowly overhead. The goat twitches once in its sleep. And you. You begin to drift. Deeper now. Not into the past. But into sleep. True sleep. Soft. Heavy. Whole. The wind has calmed. Not stilled completely. But settled, like a blanket freshly laid over the earth. In the cradle of this old shed, beneath a sky dark enough to swallow doubt. You feel your mind letting go. Of time. Of questions. Of yourself. No schedules. No pressures. Just the sound of your own breath. And the steady heartbeat of a world forgotten by clocks. You dream again. But this time, not of danger or confusion. Not of strange language or thick stew. But of hands, rough, gentle hands, guiding yours toward a hearth. You kneel. You feel warmth. Someone places a bowl in your palms. Not food, but light. A flickering flame resting in oil. They nod. Not telling you what to do, just offering you the choice. You lift it. Carry it slowly to the open door of a home you've never seen. Yet know is yours. You don't enter. Not yet. You only stand in the doorway, watching the firelight reach out into the night. Drawing shadows backward. Like memories retreating to their corners. You wake, gently. The goat is still asleep. A soft snore escaping its nostrils. The first glow of dawn touches the edge of the horizon. Blue-gray clouds, tinged with lavender. You sit up. And something inside you has changed. You are no longer afraid. No longer waiting to fix this. No longer desperate to return. Because you've remembered something deeper than the present. You can belong anywhere. When you listen more than speak. When you notice. Even now, as the village stirs again. Footsteps on earth, shutters creaking open, voices murmuring in morning prayer. You feel ready. Not ready to leave. But ready to be. Fully. Quietly. Kindly. You rise. Stretch. You rise. Stretch. The ache in your back is familiar now. Earned. You brush the straw from your sleeves and step into the dawn. The village looks different in this light. Softer. Less cursed. More lived in. You pass the herb seller again. She nods. You see the monk walking toward the chapel with a bucket of water. He doesn't speak, but his eyes crinkle in recognition. Even the baker, flower in her hair, grunts once as you pass. Maybe approval. Maybe indigestion. It doesn't matter. You're part of it now. Not because they know your story, but because you dared to walk quietly through theirs. You sit at the edge of the well. The sun slowly rising. Its warmth touches your skin. Not like electricity. Not like convenience. But like existence. Like you've truly woken up, for the first time in years. You take a breath. It fills your lungs. And it feels like home. You sit quietly by the well. There's no need to move quickly now. Nothing pulling you forward. Nothing left undone. Just the gentle rhythm of morning returning. You watch the villagers begin their tasks. Each motion slow, intentional. Fetching water. Carrying bundles of wood. Sweeping a doorstep. No one rushes. Because here, time isn't something to beat. It's something to live alongside. You close your eyes for a moment. Let the breeze brush your cheeks. Let the scent of hearth smoke and time roll past like a song half remembered. And you begin to feel yourself shift. Not your body. Not your clothes. But something deeper. A pull. A soft tether unwinding. And though your feet are still planted in this ancient earth, your spirit begins to float. As if the stars above never truly left you. You breathe again. Inhale the peace of this borrowed time. Exhale the noise of the one you came from. You are lighter now. Not empty. But spacious. And as your breath deepens, you find your way to a doorway. Not of wood. Not of stone. But of stillness. A portal between memory and dream. You step through. Not with your feet. But with your mind. And find yourself once more in your own bed. The soft weight of your blanket across your chest. The distant hum of electricity. A room shaped by modernity. But touched now, by something older. Something quieter. You didn't leave the Middle Ages behind. You carried it with you. Its patience. Its quiet work. Its way of listening. You bring back the softness of earth. The hush of candlelight. The simplicity of presence. And now you rest. Truly rest. Because you're no longer running. No longer lost. Just still. Just here. Right where you need to be. The goat, somehow, nudges your thoughts one last time. A bleat. A warm goodbye. And then fades, into the folds of sleep. You let go. Drift gently, without resistance. The world softening around you like parchment worn smooth by centuries. Let your mind float. Let your breath carry you. Let time bend. You are safe. You are still. You are whole. Sleep now, traveler of centuries. The story is finished. And the dreaming.